What's good, world? You're now locked into the very first episode of the AfroVIBE Show. I'm your host, chDEUCE, and this is where Africa talks back. From Afrobeats to Amapiano, Nollywood to new wave creatives, we're talking sound, soul, and power from the continent to the diaspora. The AfroVIBE Show was born out of something deeper than credentials. It was born out of frustration and vision. See, I've been watching African music take over the world and still not be given its full weight. We get the playlist slots, but not the ownership. We get the collabs, but not the credit. We get the streams, but they still want to call it niche. And I'm tired of that. I created the AfroVIBE Show to be a platform for the voices that aren't always handed a mic, to spotlight artists before they blow, to speak on culture while it's being shaped, and to remind people, Africa's not emerging. We've been here. I grew up between two worlds, one foot in the diaspora, the other rooted in the motherland. So I understand the tension, the push and pull, the hunger to be seen, and the fire that comes when you finally are. That's what I bring to this mic every time. So no, I'm not trying to sound like a radio host. I'm not here to give you recycled news. I'm not here to chase clout. I'm here to document the wave and amplify the voices and keep it real with every single episode. This is a show for the artists, the dreamers, the culture shifters, and anyone who knows Africa is already the future. And if that's you, then you're in the right place. Let's keep it going. Welcome to the AfroVIBE Show, hosted by chDEUCE, powered by the continent. Just a little about me. So I was born in Austin, Texas to a Nigerian family, so I'm deeply rooted in my Africanness, so to speak. Like we relocated from Austin to Lagos when I was only 4 years of age. And so after that time, I was completely immersed in my Nigerian culture and community from a young age. I really enjoyed my time in Nigeria, obviously in retrospect, because I was sometimes unhappy at how difficult things were growing up. The sometimes unnecessary challenges shaped me into who I am today, an appreciator of all things African. I've always admired talent in the arts and musical space and loved to listen to jams on the radio in my teenage years. I later came back to the US when I was of college age and attended a school in New York. It's really interesting to me watching the meteoric rise of Afrobeats as I'm old enough to remember when BET didn't exist right. Our type of music wasn't on the radio or TV back in the day. The shift is no longer subtle. It's here to stay and it seems to be happening at an exponential rate. So, music for me is my happy place, right? I wasn't that much of a singer, but I loved dancing as often as I could. I still love dancing as it's a cultural thing for me. The expression of art makes sense to me. So fast forward to 2025, having lived in many states across the United States and now have a beautiful wife and 3 boys that also love music. We are an Afrobeats household. Well, partly salsa as well, but that's another story for another episode. I set up CeeSquared Studios to highlight Africa, to make sure our stories are told in diaspora, to be an interesting voice of hope, and to give those that are homesick a place to come and vibe and just listen to what makes us the best continent. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked on this channel. You're listening to your host, chDEUCE, powered by the continent. Let's get into it. Let me take a second right here on the AfroVIBE Show to make something real clear. Afrobeats isn't a trend. It's not some cool little genre popping off on TikTok. Afrobeats is the new global pop music, period. Now I know some folks out there are going to push back on that. They'll say, nah, pop is Western. Pop is what's on the Billboard charts. But guess what's sitting right there on those same charts? Burna, Thames, Rema, Tyla, Ayra Starr. Africa's fingerprints are all over the mainstream, and it's not by accident. Let's talk about Burna Boy for a second. He's not just performing at sold-out arenas. He's doing stadiums. And not just in Lagos. I'm talking London, Paris, New York, Tokyo. He dropped twice as tall and literally called his shot. He said, I want to take African music global, and I want to do it on my own terms. And what happened? He did it. Grammy, Billboard, Coachella. Now he's got the whole world singing in pidgin. Thames? Let's go there. Sis went from Essence to soundtracking Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Like, think about that. The voice of Wakanda's future is a young Nigerian woman from Lagos. Not Rihanna, not Adele. Thames, she's not a guest, she's the moment. And then there's Tyla. Tyla is literally what happens when Amapiano goes global. She took that South African bounce, that log drum, that minimalist swag, and turned it into a Grammy-winning hit with Water. And let's not pretend she's the only one doing it. There's Uncle Waffles, Musa Keys, major league DJs. They're out here redefining the soundscape of the club, of the streets, of social media. You hear those synths, that log drum drop. You already know where it's from. But here's where it gets real. The world wants our sound. They want our rhythm. They want our energy. But sometimes they don't want to give us the credit. They remix the vibe, repackage it, and rebrand it like it's new. Meanwhile, we've been doing this. We've been making gold out of dirt floors and home studios, and we've been setting trends while they were still catching up. So here on the AfroVIBE Show, we're setting the record straight. This platform exists to say, yo, we see you, we hear you, and we got you. From the underground kings in Accra to the new wave in Nairobi, from SA's deep house gods to the rising queens in Kinshasa, Africa is not waiting for a seat at the table. We're building our own, and every time that beat drops, the world pulls up to eat. Now let me put you on real quick. If you haven't been listening to Bloody Civilian out of Nigeria, you're sleeping. Her sound, cinematic, introspective, rough around the edges in the best way. She's like if SZA and Odunsi had a baby during a blackout in Abuja. And then there's Young John, producer turned full-on superstar. His latest tracks are mad catchy, but also layered with meaning. You think it's just a party song? But listen twice and you'll hear real talk about love, ego, and pressure. So what's the takeaway? Afrobeats is not a wave, it is the tide. It's shaping what global music sounds like. And not because the West said it's hot, but because the continent never stopped cooking. This is the new pop, and we're not asking for permission. This has been your mic check segment. I'm chDEUCE, and we're just getting started. Hosted by chDEUCE, powered by the continent. Keep it locked. All right. Before we close out this first episode, let's look ahead. This is your Afrofuture Forecast, where we talk about what's next for African music, culture, and the people shaping it. And here's the truth. The future, it's not coming. It's already here. We've got teenagers in Nairobi building sounds on cracked iPhones that are more innovative than half the Billboard Hot 100. We've got fashion designers in Johannesburg flipping traditional fabrics into streetwear that's rocking runways in Milan. We've got filmmakers in Accra, in Abuja, in Kigali telling stories the world has never seen before. And they're not waiting for Netflix deals to tell them they matter. Look at what happened with the Real Housewives of Lagos, or Anikulapo, or Shimoni out of Kenya. African stories are no longer getting told about us. We're telling them ourselves, and they're hitting. People are waking up to the fact that Africa is not just the past. It's not just tradition and dust and drums. Africa is now. Africa is next. Africa is forever. And let me tell you this, the next Burna, he's probably in a dorm room in McCurdy with a cracked laptop and a dream. The next Thames, she's humming in a crowded Danfo bus right now, plotting her escape. They're out there, and we'll be here, ready to spotlight them. Right here on the AfroVIBE Show. So if you're listening right now, if you feel this vibe in your chest, if something in your spirit said, yo, this is what I've been waiting for, welcome, you're home now. This is more than music. This is more than content, and this is a cultural shift. Africa isn't catching up. Africa is setting the pace, and we're just getting started. I'm your faithful host, chDEUCE, and this was your Afrofuture Forecast on the AfroVIBE Show, hosted by chDEUCE, powered by the continent.